The best diet is the one you'll follow. This is a common statement among the gym bros, but why is it so prevalent? You might actually hear something just like this.
Now, I believe all of this has helped us to finally answer the most important question, once and for all. What's the best diet? The one you'll follow. All diets work when they're strictly adhered to. So pick a path, get started, and always remember, compliance is the science.
Or you might hear things like, if you do keto, paleo, pescatarian, carnivore, low carb, high fat, low fat, high carb, etc., and if it works for you, then great. Just keep doing it. Just do the diet that best works for you.
This is such a crock of shit.
That's 100% correct. Mr. Pacino said it, and I agree 100%. That whole statement in of itself, you have to find the diet that works best for you, or the best diet is the diet you'll do, is complete and utter bullshit. Most people will follow this mantra because they fall within these evident rules that most people would agree with. So to determine the efficacy of a diet, it must be 1, sustainable, and 2, healthy, or what some people would call balanced. We could all agree with this, right? A sustainable and healthy diet will determine the efficacy of a diet. Now, most people would say a diet that consists of French fries alone is probably a diet that is not considered to be the healthiest. But if you look at this dude here, at first glance, you would probably presume him to be healthy. I mean, look at him. He's skateboarding, he's thin, but he's primarily been eating French fries his whole life. And when you look at his blood work, it's a complete train wreck. So a sustainable and healthy or balanced diet is the way to go. So let's break that down. So addressing number 1, sustainability, we could all probably agree that a sustainable diet or a diet would be sustainable because one would find adherence to said diet to be easy or effortless. Well, I think that was pretty easy to digest, and I don't think we need to go any further. So we've already addressed sustainability, so let's just leave it there. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, what about addressing question number 2? What is a healthy or balanced diet? Now, here is where we run into an issue. The problem here is that people have been misled into believing what is a healthy diet. Is a healthy diet one that consists of foods that look like this? I'm showing you this to let you know that I too was once a meat eater, and I thought some animal products were healthy for human consumption until I read the science and realized I was kind of wrong. I realized not only were animal products not healthy, but they were completely unnecessary, thanks to a little birdie that gave me some perspective, which motivated me to do even more research and stop tolerating bullshit from myself. Amazing! I know. So if you've seen any of my previous videos or have simply done any research on your own, you will see that animal products are not healthy for human consumption because animals and the things that come out of animals are not human food. Of course, I can hear the appeal to nature and appeal to tradition fallacies from the trollers all over the internet, but the fact of the matter is we're all plant eaters. And if we're not plant eaters, then why is the consumption of animal flesh inflame us and clog our arteries? Why is it when I see this little friend here, I want to only pet him and not hurt him or eat him? Is it because I'm sedating my inner killer lion instinct? Or is it because I am not physiologically and psychologically meant to consume or harm this animal? I would say it's probably the latter. So obviously people who talk shit are simply doing so to protect their own egos or stir up some drama, or maybe they got some type of financial interest in exploiting animals for their own benefit, but whatever. I digress. Let's get back on topic here. So, addressing question number 2, what is a balanced diet? I would have to say a healthy diet is a diet that meets all the caloric, macronutrients, and micronutrient needs of a person and excludes any foods that contribute to chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, strokes, cancer, etc. Fair enough? So how do we measure what foods contribute or cause less chronic disease? Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, we have to occasionally depend on epidemiological or population-based studies, as controlling thousands or millions of people at a time with metabolic ward studies or randomized controlled trials would cost an infinite amount of money that probably isn't within the budgets of the NIH or any other science-based institution. This isn't to say that we need to discredit any other forms of studies outside of population-based studies, but rather that the epidemiological evidence that we have today is a significant piece of data we could use to our benefit to answer our question of what is a healthy or balanced diet. By looking at the Adventist Health Study too, we can see that pretty much any type of vegetarian diet, to include a vegan diet, lowered the risk of all-cause mortality, cancer, and diabetes. So based on this one study, we can observe that eating animal foods increases our chances of potentially getting sick and dying earlier. If we look at this review paper on the reduction in saturated fat intake for cardiovascular disease from the Cochrane collaboration, we can see from 15 randomized controlled trial studies involving over 59,000 participants that a reduction in saturated fat decreased someone's chances of having a cardiovascular event by 17% when consumption of saturated fat calories dropped from 10% to 9% of calories. The risk of having a cardiovascular event dropped even further if someone dropped their intake from 8% to 7% or even below that. And if we look at this study, we can see that consumption of more saturated fat or animal fats in general raises your chances of ischemic heart disease once you wait long enough to see the effects to settle in, thanks to the French. So based on those studies, it's clear that consumption of saturated fat and cholesterol, in particular animal fats or animal foods, promotes cardiovascular disease and other chronic diseases that we want to avoid. I could hear it so clearly. That stream is flowing strong. The low carb / keto community is probably furiously pissing blood right now from the buildup of angst and anger and rage boiling in their robust yet clogged arterial system. So let's dive a little deeper again. FML. We already know that consumption of dietary cholesterol and dietary saturated fat raises serum cholesterol levels, which increases someone's chances of having some type of atherosclerotic event. So a diet that has less of these substances would probably be best suited for an individual's diet to avoid any of the chronic diseases that we don't want, correct? Additionally, things like heme, iron, hormones, HCAs and AGAs, and other toxins that don't jive too well with human metabolism would probably be better to be left out of one's diet if said individual is looking to eat a healthy and balanced diet. It'll pretty much cut out all the bullshit you're not supposed to be eating and make sure you get an ample amount of calories, vitamins, and minerals, and voila, you have a healthy and balanced diet. Sounds great in theory, but how does that look like in reality?
Oh my God. We've cracked the code.
It's a plant-based diet. A plant-based diet meets all the requirements someone needs without all the shit that is going to make someone sick in the long term. You see, the problem with society is that there seems to be a short-term problem and a long-term problem as well too. People want results yesterday, and they don't want to go against any of the common consensus of nutrition because change is hard to accept due to the influential advertisements that flood the media, of all different kinds of sorts. And of course, the gym bros, unfortunately, have a strong influence on the general public, at least on the youth, due to their, their accolades and records and muscles and and heart disease and strokes. Yeah. And here's a quick pointer. If you're taking a shitload of daily vitamins because you think you have to, or because your gym bro told you, or because your doctor told you, your diet sucks, especially if you have to take something for your blood pressure.
Just finished eating. Now I'm going to take my daily vitamins. I usually have 2 boxes of these here home, which I fill up for 2 weeks. Inside of this is vitamin D, krill oil, vitamin B, Lopez, which is for my blood pressure. Lopez, which is for my blood pressure. Lopez, which is for my blood pressure. Iodine, selenium, omega-3, calcium and magnesium. That's about it. Every morning.
Well, that's just Hafthor Bjornsson, and he's one of the world's strongest men. And no one is saying that strongmen competitors like Hafthor are healthy, right? Then why the hell are so many people eating the way he is, minus all the excess amounts of calories? You really think all that dead flesh and chicken periods that are squeezed out of a chicken's asshole are good for you to consume? If you do, and if you have science to back that up, please present it, because I would love to read this groundbreaking evidence. And I know what some of you are thinking. Well, what about B12? Well, I don't want to eat dirt or eat a recycled version of B12 from the flesh of a dead cow, or drink it from the secretions of a raped and abused cow. So I personally take a supplement, but it's not necessary if you eat fortified foods or fortified drinks with B12. So do what you want, or maybe consult a physician. To conclude this whole narrative, just eat whole plants, because that's the foods your body is designed to eat. This whole spin on nutrition from the self-proclaimed gurus of the diet industry that they try to attach to their story that goes along the lines of the best diet is the one that you'll do is nothing more than a brilliant display of bro science, and quite frankly, it's fucking stupid. You have to eat a diet that suits your physiology, hence the plants, and the plants that you like to eat. So just eat plants that you like and make sure that you're not deficient on anything, and you'll be golden, baby. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, all references and resources will be linked in the description box down below. Feel free to check them out at your leisure. Please let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. As you know, I love to engage with all of you. You know I appreciate every single one of you. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the ding dong button if you haven't already. You people know who I am. I'm the Natural Hulk. I want to thank you for watching. And please stay tuned for the next one.